Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm joined by the lovely Kaitlin from Kitty G.
Hello.
And Mercedes from Mercy's
Hey.
Bookish Musings. We're on a little book holiday for the weekend, which has been really fun so far, but we decided we'd do a collaborative video, and so they very kindly joined me to talk about 5-star reads. Recently I've been thinking about a book I was reading, and I thought it was really interesting. And I was really enjoying it, but in my head I was saying this is 4 stars, this is 4 stars, and I was thinking, oh, why is it 4 stars? I've really enjoyed it, why can't I give it 5 stars? And it just prompted me to think of the reasons why I give 5 stars. So before we get into the discussion about 5-star reads and what individually, because I think it's quite a personal thing, we all choose to give, like, what constitutes a 5-star read for us. I thought I'd ask the girls to tell you a 5-star read for them and a book that they have DNF'd recently-ish, just so we can sort of gauge an idea and get an idea when we're talking about where we rate.
Yeah.
So,
sounds good.
You want to go first?
Okay. So my most recent 5-star read was I Am Malala, which I recently read. It's a non-fiction, so I also looked up on Goodreads because I've forgotten what my most recent 5-star fictional read was, and that was Caravel, which you read as well. Mercedes, you probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't think I would when you didn't speak about it.
The most recent book I DNF'd was What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours by Helena Yemi, which is a short story collection.
And then Mercedes?
So my most recent 5 stars is Night Waking by Sarah Moss, and that's a fiction.
Oh, come on, be a bit more original.
I know.
I was thinking about you and bloody Sarah.
I know, I'm obsessed with
Moss is
her.
all over.
I was trying to think of what my other most recent 5-star is that was fiction. Should have probably checked.
I was going to say.
I didn't think I was going to get bullied for Sarah Moss.
She's not very organised, you know.
But my most recent 5-star for non-fiction was Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, which is about the American criminal justice system.
I want to read that one.
And
I've heard that.
my most
She bought it for
recent...
my birthday.
I bought it for her birthday. You were there when she unwrapped it. Oh my god!
Yeah, you were.
I saw the Leon book and I was distracted.
No, I gave her both.
Yeah, she got me that.
And
one too.
Sam had just arrived.
Yeah, you were excited. So I'll let you off. And my most recent DNF is The Stories of Ibis by Hiroshi Yamamoto. I don't think that's how you say it.
So I'm not necessarily doing my most recent, but I'm thinking.
She.
Well, I'm thinking of
Get out.
I'm thinking of ones that fit into the conversation. In fact, they all fit into the conversation about the 5-star things. But probably the most impactful for me 5-star, which I think is definitely going to hit my favourites of the year, is Paper Butterflies by Lisa Heathfield. And if you watch my channel, because you were on here, hopefully you watch it. But I did.
No, probably just here because I am.
Well, they're probably just heard
I was here.
And then you'll know that I bawled like a baby during that, because I was vlogging a readathon and just finished it and turned the camera on and I was still crying. I was very embarrassed, but I just thought, this is real. This is real, guys.
Yeah.
So
It's
that was
raw.
Yeah, raw. That is my latest 5-star read.
That was a while ago.
One of my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sorry,
a
not
while.
my latest 5-star read. That was
No,
one
she's
of
a liar, isn't she? Don't
Selective.
Forget that.
This was one of my recent 5-star reads, and I think one of my latest DNFs was The Only Ones by Carola Dibble, which we were reading together, which you put down for later date, but I
You've definitely
DNF'd.
read it.
Yeah. So that now we sort of know, just to give you an idea of some of the books, what is it about? Like, what do you need to give a 5-star review? Is it like an instinctual thing? Is what does the book have to provide for you to give it 5 stars? Okay, so let's dissect it, because me and Kaitlin were chatting earlier, and we were saying that emotion. Like, for me, if a book makes me cry or laugh or get really angry, if it taps into that really raw emotion, then generally it tends to end up being a 5-star.
Okay. Not necessarily. A book could have that for me, and the writing could just be okay, and I feel like making me cry is just like, not always, but sometimes I find that making me cry is just like a cheap thrill.
But, okay.
Do you know what I mean? And like, I might have cried just because they've done the right thing to make me cry or laugh.
I don't think I cry.
But actually,
No,
I would only cry.
I'm
if
really
I'm
easy
like,
crier.
Yeah, that's your.
I cry at
weakness
adverts and
then.
trailers. I cry at
So do I,
trailers.
but
Like,
not in books.
I cry if I see an old
like
couple holding hands down the street.
Oh, that is
Pathetic.
romantic.
Yeah. So,
But okay, so say the book makes you cry,
yeah,
or makes you get angry,
yeah,
or taps into an emotion.
yeah.
What in addition to that would it have to do to then give
Okay,
you?
well, there's an exception to every rule. Usually, it has to be the writing style for me is always going to be the most important thing, regardless of the plot, anything. The writing.
And what do you mean about the writing? So does the language have to be beautiful?
Yeah,
or
I want to read it and have
feel poetic?
I want to be amazed that a person could have just come up with that, and I want my
So
breath
do you like
taken
language
away.
full of metaphors and stuff?
Yeah, and I like yeah, I do, and I like language that's. I think I read stuff that's more wordy and descriptive than it is.
Oh goodness, I'm going to have to keep these two back. There's going to be fisticuffs.
But I think I prefer stuff that's more descriptive than it is sparse. I prefer more, not really over the top prose, but stuff that's a bit more.
Well, I agree with descriptive for fantasy. I'm on that. I've
Yeah.
got that name.
Yeah.
So you're not about the long pauses in. No, so when I say I like an action-packed story, I think generally I think people take that to mean I like a story that is literally a bang, bang, bang action, which I suppose that's what action-packed means. But what I mean more is that I don't want to be sat in a room with someone sitting down for 2 chapters internally in their head.
I love it. Yeah.
Really?
I want beautiful writing, a brilliant character that's thinking about something that's intelligent or different and makes me consider the world and my life in a
Is that
different
because
way.
it makes you feel intelligent to read it?
No, it doesn't make me feel.
That sounds really rude,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
know.
no. It doesn't make me feel intelligent, but I want to be. I want to give it 5 stars because it made me think or challenge something about myself, and I want to feel like. For me, it isn't just enough for it to have been fun and enjoyable. It needs to have given me something that has made me think or challenge something.
True. I think that's why non-fiction.
And then I'll remember it for that.
I rate a lot of non-fictions very highly.
I do,
because I always feel like with a non-fiction I'm nearly always learning something really new, something that I wouldn't have experienced or thought about,
Yeah.
and it has exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it all non-fiction for you, or because mine tends to be more
No,
memoir?
not all. Memoirs I do
I
get
tend
most
to be a bit
often,
more.
but that's
Like
usually what
essay
I pick.
collections,
I don't read them.
I like
But
it.
you did the Geek Feminist. That's like an essay collection.
Yeah, but it's science fiction and fantasy ones, so
So
it's
it's
a little
more
bit.
So was
it's
that
not-
5 stars for you?
No,
See, it wasn't for me either.
it's very good, but I didn't give it 5 stars.
I haven't read it yet.
So yeah, so I said I'm in non-fiction. Again, it's the memoirs, and generally because
Just
they
anything
tap
that
into an
tugs on your
emotion.
heartstrings,
Yeah, it's, so it's back to the emotions again for you and me, I think.
I think
Whereas-
for me,
I mean, I'm not-
characters
yeah.
is one
I
of
was
the
never
most
saying
important
characters,
things.
yeah.
Like, if a character is really boring or I have a real problem with what they're doing in the story,
Or it doesn't feel real.
it doesn't feel real. Something like that. If something happens with the character, it will take me out of the story. It doesn't matter how beautiful the writing is. It doesn't matter
Is that
if
like
it's something
they
intelligent
kill
and
someone
interesting.
off, or something
Not
happens
so
to the
much if
character
they
that you
kill
feel like, well,
something.
why
if
would
they
that
make a
happen?
really bad choice, and I'm like, that is not a genuine choice. You've done that. As
You've
a
done
For
that
plot
to
that
move the plot along.
personality
Yeah.
of that
not
character.
something like that. I'll lose interest. It could have been a really good book up to that point, and if it has something like that, I'm out.
Yeah,
Switched
so
off.
I feel like a 5 stars a combo. For me, it has to have the beautiful writing. It has to have themes that I find interesting, and to me, that's just an individual thing. What themes you want to read about?
Are there specific
Yeah.
ones that you
Yeah,
look
there's
for?
certain things that if I saw in a blurb, I'd be like, I'm definitely.
What are your
gonna pick that up.
buzzwords then for like a?
Well, I read. This is quite bad, but I read mainly female authors, and I've told you guys this. If I
I
pick a
don't think
blurb
that's
up,
bad if that's your thing,
Yeah.
right?
I'll pick a blurb up, and if I love the sound of the blurb,
Men, so we're evening each other
yeah.
out.
If I turn it over and it's a male author, I'm like 80% less likely to buy the book because
Is
I'm a.
because the writing style changes with a man.
I
or-
personally feel like I can tell if a man or a woman's written it, and I feel like a woman's voice speaks more to me, and I'm bored of hearing men's voices in every form of media. I'm just bored of it.
Okay.
Like every now and again, I'll read a guide by a man, and I think it's great, and I give it 5 stars. But the world's saturated with it. And I just want to
That's
hear a woman's
fair.
voice.
That's
But
fair.
you don't. But if something came to you blind, if you had a row of books and you didn't know who the author was, so you didn't know if they were a popular author, and you didn't know if they were male or female, what would it be in the blurb that would catch what things?
Okay, yeah, that didn't matter. So I love multi-generational stories. So multiple characters.
So multi-generational.
Multi-generational, multiple characters. I like it when different characters are telling the story. Sagas over a long distance of time. Family dynamics, just quiet stories about. I love stories that are about just characters and the way they work with one another. Really.
But then, so if you said that to me,
relationships, really.
if you said that to me, I would say something like Roots, or some. I mean, there's loads of I really hate this because I always feel like I'm saying something negative about someone when I say women's fiction or chick lit. But there are loads of multi-generational, like Jojo Moyes has written loads of multi-generational things. But that is everything you've just said. It's multi-generational, it's lots of different points of view, it's a female author.
Stereotype with chick lit though, isn't there?
But
so
I've tried, like, I've picked up her in a bookshop and I just don't like the way she writes.
So it would be more, it's got to have those. And
the writing style can override everything else.
First chapter before you pick, because how would you know that the writing style is going to be beautiful if you didn't know, like, what is how
it's like an interrogation.
I read. No, it's alright.
It's sort of interesting.
I read negative reviews over positive reviews. So if I go on Goodreads, and
do
I think
look on Goodreads.
Yeah, I do. I really trust Goodreads. But I trust negative reviews more because positive reviews they don't necessarily say why they love it. They just say it's great, it's amazing, all these superlatives. If you read a negative review, somebody might say, I didn't like this because it was really slow, and I know I have no issue with slow books, so I think, well, great, you didn't like it, but that means I will. So that's I personally read reviews that are 2 or 1 stars.
So you wouldn't, because you don't read on your Kindle and stuff. Because I know that if people read on their Kindle, they'll download like a sample for free. Because then you would get the writing style. You don't choose to like read. If you were in a bookstore,
if I was in a bookstore, I'd read the first couple of pages. Yeah, but I very rarely buy from bookstores because they don't stock.
Is it generally, do you look at publishers as well? Because you know that certain publishers put books.
Yeah, so there's publishers that I check every month and I'll see.
On me now that I know them a lot more.
I know I'm not very good at that, but you guys really, because you're working in that sort of side of it, and because you were a bit more independent, you've rooted out the ones that you like. But
But it's not always guaranteed for all. Like there are publishers who I think I'm going to like something by, and then I really
they all have duds. You're not always going to.
Yeah. And are there booktubers? I'm going to come to you in a minute. Don't worry. I'm interrogating her first. You're in for it in a minute. So people that influence you in terms of booktube that you know, if you see them talk about a book and they liked it, you generally would think, oh, that I would probably like that too.
Yeah, well, neither of you two.
Well, we do. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm joking, but we do read different things.
Yeah, we don't.
But I would trust Kelly from what Kelly reads. We have really similar book taste. I think more recent booktuber is Rachel from Reader on the Right. We have quite similar taste in books. Jen and I, for quite a lot of things, have quite similar taste in books from Jen Campbell.
Yeah.
There's probably loads more people who I'm just not remembering off the top of my head, but I feel like those people who are, if you let us borrow from each other's bookshelves, we'd have the most crossover. Yeah. Just going back to that quickly, the little thing before about, like, you said, oh, not from your shelves, and then you looked all like, I struggle. Yeah, as friends, we don't have very similar taste. I struggle with people feeling uncomfortable with saying, like, I don't think that's negative. By like, yeah, but I find that weird. Like, why would you? I don't. Like, I'm not saying anything about your personality. I'm not taking a dig at you. I think because people try to find books very personal, they feel like it's a dig at their sort of. And I think people can feel hurt because they felt such a high emotion about a book. If someone else says it's rubbish, it can make them question and feel. I think people feel stupid. I think that's what it is. People think, well, if you think you don't think that was good, you think that was rubbish, then does that make me stupid because I did like it? Yeah. And that isn't how I view it. It's just that I know we have. I mean, we've discussed this before. We read for different reasons. We've said what we look for out of just reading as an experience is an entirely different thing, really. Yeah. So. You know, why would I wouldn't be offended about it? No. Yeah. I hate what you read too. Yeah, I know. We'll know that the other person won't like it if one of us did and avoid it because of it. So. Okay, and so I'm going to interrogate you now. Okay. So we said emotions would give you a 5-star, as well as what else? And so you're saying characters.
Characters for me are the key thing, but also with fantasy, because that's what I predominantly read. World building, because it's a whole other world. Most of the time when you read fantasy, it's an entirely new world. I don't mind if they miss things out, like creatures of that world or ecology of that world. I don't mind if that's missed out. If that's included, I'm way more likely to pick it up, because if it feels like a genuine, real, complete world with lots of different things that are really unusual and like things that are kind of a bit different, like on where it's all like just things because it's something. Hob though, she doesn't. I mean, you love Hob. I love Hob as well, but she doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She's done sort of a middle. It's the medieval, medieval world setup. Yeah, which is fine. So in that situation, it's the characters. Is that because you can already picture that? Because that is like our times in medieval times. That's Lord of the Rings, essentially. Yeah. You can already. Everyone knows what that is. Picture that. So you don't need to build that world. You don't need that world to be built for you. You just need some really good characters. And she does have magic systems that are which are a bit interesting. So that's her world building style. Yeah, I think that for her, the characters are the key thing. So characters, emotion. I found that interesting when we were talking earlier, because both these lovely ladies have read all of Robin Hobb's now. Yeah, that is out.
and I read the first book in the Farseer trilogy and I didn't get on with it. And as with most people, I think, who've suffered from that and haven't continued, we've all been told to read Ship of Magic because it will change our views, which I'm going to do at some point. But it's worth, I'm definitely up for giving it a shot. But something that I found very interesting with you earlier was that you said that Robin Hood made you cry. Now, when I think of science fiction and fantasy, and I think what emotion might I get from this book, I'd never think crying.
No, but you follow one man specifically for a lifetime of pain and horrible things happening to him. He's an admirable man, isn't he? And he
becomes real as well. Like he's not a character in my head. Like
he's out there.
Real. Yeah. He's someone she knows intimately well, and you can get that from reading the book. Like he is genuine to her, and the way she writes about him is genuine to the reader.
And because you're so in his head, you feel his heartbreak. That's how you feel like you're there with him.
I'm feeling sad thinking about
it. I do.
I do. So I think that's interesting because I've never had that reaction to a science fiction or fantasy book
before with any other book. I'd never had that with a fictional character before. I'd had it in like non-fiction and stuff, feeling for people, but I'd never had it as strong with a fictional character. I'd empathise with fictional characters before, but Robin Hood was the first one for me in fantasy who did that.
Especially in fantasy, I've never had fantasy or science fiction. I mean, I haven't read as much as you at all.
Science fiction, I don't.
I tend to get it more with contemporaries, whether that's YA contemporaries or middle grade contemporaries with things like George or adult contemporaries, but it does tend to be contemporary rather than anything that's got magical realism in. Ruby, I cried at actually, by Cynthia Bond.
I think I did as well, but I think,
and that was 5 stars for me again. I think because I really liked the writing.
We read that together, didn't we?
I really liked the writing. I really liked the characters that were in it, and it made me cry. So that was like I think that might be for me. I think the cry, not to say crying, but that
like we didn't have the writing.
No, I think it was. I thought it was a little bit melodramatic.
You didn't like the more voodoo side,
and I didn't. There was a voodoo aspect to it, and I thought that was unnecessary.
It's a bit sensational.
Whereas I quite liked that. I don't think we all hate all the same bits, but
we all like Hairspray.
Yeah. So I would say 5 stars is got to be for me emotion, character. I'm less focused on the writing style. However, if a plot doesn't make sense to me, so if the motivation for the character doesn't make sense, like I think, well, the character just wouldn't have done that. Why?
I agree.
Then it doesn't. I don't like it. So
I think. So if we're saying the things we've mentioned are plot, characters, and writing style. For me, I'd put writing style first, characters second, and plot last.
And when you finish,
emotion.
Like an emotional response to a book.
At the end.
What do you mean by emotional though? Because I would class that as just good character development.
Something that you get attached to somehow.
Wrench or
something happens.
Or like you were saying about Fitz.
Attached to.
Like,
I mean, you don't have to be like liking the characters, but there's some emotion that you're getting from reading about that character in that book in that way.
I don't think I've ever given a 5 stars to a book that I haven't liked a character in.
No, I have.
I don't think I can. I have to have someone to root for.
I think I read so many that have so many characters. I'm often getting a book where I don't like one of them.
But you must like your main protagonist.
Otherwise, there's no point reading it.
So I think for me, I have to like someone. There has to be someone that I'm kind of rooting.
You like hating people.
I like
don't
hating
you?
people.
Yeah.
In real life and in books.
Because I read a book recently.
That's why she's with us.
Yeah.
I read Foxlow. Have you read Foxlow?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit rubbish.
I didn't like it, and the reason I didn't like it is because I didn't like the main character. I thought
I haven't read that one yet.
For various reasons. So, but what? So when you finish a book, for me, I'm getting to the last few pages, and I already know what I'm giving it.
Majority of the way through, I know what I'm going to give it.
So
I'm like 50 pages
I
in,
know
I already
from
know.
halfway.
Unless they completely mess up, I'm pretty aware of what it's going to be.
And why? What? Because I know with us, like it would have something would have hit me, or the plot. But you're saying sort of the writing style and.
Yeah. Do you know sometimes a book can have all of those things and it just hasn't got that something that I can't even describe that gives it the vibe.
For me, that would be
it's like a bit of magic. Yeah, but see, I guess you two are separating emotion and character development. But I think that you get an emotional response because the characters are well developed. So I don't class those as separate things.
Okay. But what is that?
I wouldn't get an emotional response to badly developed characters because I just think this is rubbish.
Yeah,
You're so flat.
That's true. That's true.
So I would view it as number 1 is writing style, number 2 is character development / emotional response, and number 3 is plot. Plot is the least important thing to me. You can put people in a room having a conversation about something, and if it's well written and interesting, the characters are good, I'll enjoy it.
All right, so your writing style, characters with their sort of motivation, and then plot. And then what would you be out of those three?
Characters would be first.
Okay.
But plot for you,
Probably
your
plot
world
would be
building would
second.
be it within plot, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
So yours
Plot
would be
would be second.
characters, plot,
And then writing style, but I say that with a pinch of salt
emotional
because
response.
well, that's like in the characters.
Okay,
If
so
we're
that's
going with
characters,
that would be
okay.
like the top. But if we're going with like writing style, I actually don't like really
elaborate.
lyrical writing styles for all my books. Like Name of the Wind is probably one of the most lyrical that you get in fantasy, and Robin Hobb, and that's about like as much as I'd want. I wouldn't really want any more than that. Whereas you read a lot.
I wish
more.
there was more because
Yeah,
I
don't
find
really
that.
like
Would you find reading that all the time would
I
be
just
too
find it a
much?
bit pretentious. I just think I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like
I wouldn't be
I'm a
told a
bit
story.
bored of like hearing your inner monologues for so long. I want a bit more action and I want a bit more world building and I want you to describe to me what they're wearing in over 20 pages because that's what you do in fantasy. Like I genuinely enjoy that when that
when
happens.
I get
And
told people's
know
outfits, I'm like, jog on, I don't need to know what
loads of
someone's
people
wearing.
hate it, but I don't
Oh,
mind
it really
that at
annoys
all.
me.
Like I find it interesting. So particularly if it's
I don't mind a
specific
little bit,
period
but
or
not
a
like-
very foreign country or place. Like I find that really
See,
fascinating.
I'm aware
so.
that I am probably what people would class as a pretentious reader.
Yeah,
and
I think you're completely pretentious.
And I embrace that, and I'm
But
fine
yeah,
with
that's,
that.
that's what you like. And
Because
like,
I like,
sometimes I like
yeah.
that too. So
Because I
It
read,
depends.
because I always find the Rothfuss and Hobb thing a little bit interesting because I've read
I think
Rothfuss and Hobb.
the sign of a pretentious reader is someone that possibly has a similar sort of reading style as you, but they think of themselves as aloof, and I don't think you're
No,
like
I don't
that.
think I'm better than anyone else.
I don't
But then
you're
I don't
really
think you can be
pretentious,
pretentious. I think
That's
people
what I think
think
the writing
literary
style
is
can do,
pretentious,
actually,
and I
like-
don't think that's the case.
But what I do struggle with is when people say to me, "Oh, well, maybe," because I say I don't really like YA or like contemporary or whatever we
But
call it,
that's
women's
just
fiction.
like a genre, because I do think for me, literary is a genre. It's got to be something. It is kind
Yeah.
of a little genre,
Well,
just
it's
like
like, it's like
chick lit
drama,
or-
isn't it? It's just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though.
because all genres have different things that make them what they are. So science fiction and fantasy,
Yeah.
it's set in space, got magic, all those things. Literary
But
fiction,
then I would say you can
beautiful
read.
lyrical writing.
Yeah, but then I
style.
would say you can read literary science fiction, or you can read
I'd
literary
agree with
magical
that.
realism.
Yes, okay.
So
Oh, yeah,
that's why I would
okay.
say it isn't necessarily a genre. It's more of a like a writing style.
But
than
then
a
you can read
genre.
contemporary YA, contemporary adult fiction.
Or you could read YA fantasy. So YA isn't a genre either. It's a writing
It's
style.
yeah.
It's a voice. Same as
Voice,
literary, it's
yeah.
their voices. But I think
Yeah.
the reason I struggle is because sometimes, not as much now, but when I first started my channel, when more people read, when there was less adult booktubers or people who read adult fiction, so many people would say to me, "Oh well, the YA you've tried isn't very good. You should try this. You should try this. You should try this." And I don't want to. I'm so happy with what I read.
Why do you
I love
want
what I
to?
read. So why waste
I
my
mean,
time
that's what
reading stuff
I-
I'm not going to enjoy to find 1 out of 10 that I will?
I think
There's
about
no
that
point.
a lot because I read in a niche. Like
Yeah.
I'm very aware that I read science fiction and fantasy over other books
Yeah.
a lot of the time. And like Diversathon happened, and I read books that were mostly not science fiction
Yeah.
and fantasy, and they were mostly what I'd say is kind of literary.
Yeah.
Not really what I would normally read. I loved it. Most of the books I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Equally, much prefer having fantasy on the go because I just know that I'm in a comfortable, happy place with my fantasy, and
Yeah,
like, that
that's
is what
why
I
you read.
really want to do. I like the challenging reads a little bit every now and then, and I like them to
See, I
be
think-
like
And I'm the
a few
same
a
with
month.
literary. I would dip into
But
the
I don't-
literary every now
I
and
don't
then.
want that
I
to
think
be
we're
my
just the
common
opposite.
practice.
Because for me, fantasy is a break and
Yeah,
it's a chill out.
exactly, which is what literary
And which
is
is
for
what
me.
literary
It's
is
not a
for
break,
her.
but it's like something different.
Which is for me what I pick up YA for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
I pick up YA for the same
yeah,
reason as
so
well.
like
Yeah.
because of the way like I'm a stay-at-home mum, and you guys know because you watch my channel,
We know too.
and you know obviously, and
I
it's
think you
not
mentioned
the
it.
same.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever noticed that actually. I never knew that about you.
It's not the same as like going to work. It's a different type, of job. But sometimes at the end of the day, like literally, when you've got a 3-year-old who gets up at 6,
I think it's
and if
more
they're with you all
tiring than
day,
sitting at a
they
desk.
talk at you all day.
Yeah.
They talk at you all day. You have to be responsible not only
They
for their
just ask a
safety,
million
but
questions.
they're talking at you, and then you're trying to like man out. Are they going to have a tantrum here? Can I try and like stop them from having a tantrum? What can I do to try and do this? And how am I going to? And can I get them out of the
Yeah.
house to go to school in 10 minutes? And so
Responsible for a
sometimes,
person,
yeah,
not just
at the
yourself
end
and your
of the
work.
day,
So,
my brain is fried, and
yeah,
I don't want to
blame you.
concentrate. I want to step into someone else's world world that's fraught with teen angst
exactly
and
what- well,
easy
not teen
writing,
angst.
and I want to, or romance.
Teen angst, I'm not there.
I love
No.
my Jill Shalvis. You know, I just want to step
don't know who
into
that
someone
is.
else's shoes. She's
Yeah,
like
she's
writes
just Lucky
romance.
Harbour,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she writes like really easy romance that I could read in a night, and sometimes that's just what I want. I
Yeah,
don't want to
I
think
think
about
that's
what I'm
exactly
reading,
right.
and so that is, it's not a guilty pleasure, but it's just that sort of book that I need to relax with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that's
guilty
what
about
it comes down to, is like, what do you read for? Well, that's what
Well,
gives
yeah,
you quite
But I
exactly.
very, very rarely give a book like that. Jill Shalvis series, I talk about it all the time on my channel. I read all of them, but I don't think I think I might have given one of them 5 stars.
Yeah,
Because they are throwaway books. Like, I can't tell you the plot of all of them still, and I didn't read
Yeah.
them that long ago. Whereas ones that maybe are a little bit more serious, or a little bit more hard hitting, or a little bit more literary, or the ones that take a bit more
Impression.
effort and take a bit more thought.
Yeah.
If I'm in the right frame of mind and I can concentrate on them, they're the ones that I end up giving 5 stars because they will stay with me. So very quickly then, before we stop, what is it then on the flip side that would make you put down a book? I mean, would it just be all of those things not being there, or has there got to be something?
Oh, yeah, so many awful things make me doing it.
I know there's lots of things.
so many. Yeah,
I mean, maybe for
Mercedes is
me.
picky. Basically, that's what
Yeah,
she
I am,
DNFs.
yeah.
And do you
But
do
I
that
am
often?
too. Like, I think we all are. If something comes
I
up,
think
that
this
you
year I've
don't like-
DNF quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And people say, when people make discussion videos about DNF, and I've noticed a lot of people say in the comments, I very rarely DNF because I'm really good at picking like what I like.
she just said that to
I
me.
just
like,
said
what
totally.
you just said.
Yeah.
But I find that because I do take risks with stuff I buy,
Yeah.
because it might sound a bit weird and it could work or it might not. I'm not going to like everything I,
I think
buy, and I'm
magical
good with
realism
that.
is
It's
a
a risk.
weirder
Yeah,
genre
it is
as
a
well.
risk.
Like, you don't.
Yeah.
I often don't know if I'm going to like something
Yeah.
if I buy it for magical realism. With fantasy,
And
quite
same with fairy tale
certainly I know.
retelling. Sometimes
Yeah.
they'll work, the
And
literary
because
ones.
you
yeah.
say
sometimes
like
they won't.
your thing is literary and that's a voice rather than a genre,
Mm.
you are still stepping into lots of
Oh
different
yeah,
genres.
across the, yeah.
Whereas science fiction and fantasy is a little bit more.
A niche.
It's
you
safer
can
for
know
you to
where
know
you
you're
like.
gonna-
Yeah,
which is why
I
do
know
it
what I
a
like,
lot.
and I've read enough that I'm very sure.
Confident.
Like,
Yeah.
if there's a few words like epic, fantasy, like that's all I really need to be honest.
So yeah, so
DNFing.
DNFing for me, I think
Crap writing.
yeah, something
rubbish
where
writing.
I'm just insta love.
Insta-
For me, like,
Insta.
and the problem I have isn't necessarily. Sorry, that I'm going to contradict myself. It's not insta love. It's
I hate insta love.
It's insta love that, like, because, but insta love, like, in YA is a thing because when I was a teenager, I fell in love every day.
I
and
mean,
it was that insta
I am
love.
going to be like a dickhead now. I didn't.
Yeah, no,
I was
didn't
never
have-
that person who
I
was-
didn't
Did you
do
have
that
a
at all.
crush, like-
No, I never.
I
did
fancy
that.
people, but I didn't
I
fall
didn't
in
even
love with
fancy
them.
people.
I didn't even think I
That's-
loved
that
them.
makes me sound really
Oh,
weird,
yeah,
but I
so-
didn't fancy anyone.
So, okay, let's take the love bit out of. But I did have.
You know, like those people who fall in love with like a celebrity and stuff. I just didn't.
I didn't
No.
have
Oh no!
that.
When I was like
never
9, I was
had that.
obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio. I had a
Wait.
poster of him on my wall. I used to kiss it night.
No, I
night
never
every
had
night.
any of that. But okay, so take the love out of it. But I
Okay,
did
like,
have instant
obsessive
crush.
and- yeah.
I did. I would have
I've never done
because you've
stupid
got to have
things
that
that they do
sexual
on.
chemistry feeling towards someone to want to try
I
and
don't-
date them in the
yeah.
first
Oh,
place.
maybe I was just really amazing as a young person, but I would never do the stupid, ridiculous things that they do in these YA
Yeah,
books.
it's
Just
true.
because I fancied someone. I was never that
I
silly.
just have a big
Mm.
problem with people who make a decision that would not be realistic. If you're in like a dystopian world and you're trying to
Fight
like,
to-
fight to your
yeah,
death
for your
or like
life.
You wouldn't be
whatever,
worried
you
about
wouldn't
some
worry
guy
about
with
some
rip-
guy
like,
with
muscly
blue
arms.
eyes
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just
You'd
not
be
what
like,
you'd be thinking about.
I've not got time
Particularly,
for it.
you wouldn't be thinking about 2 of them, which often happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's usually 2. Sometimes there's
Yeah.
more. I mean,
You wouldn't
no.
have time for that.
Yeah,
You'd
you
be
wouldn't.
trying to,
You
like-
wouldn't.
Like,
And I also hate, which I think is happens quite a lot in books that also have insta love, like Manic Pixie Dream Girls, where we get given this empty
Yeah.
twee character, usually a girl, hence the dream girl,
Yeah.
who has nothing to them. Like what's her face in Name of the Wind, in the one that he made the separate book about.
Ori. I like Ori.
But in the book, she's
But yeah,
and
she
all
is a
of
bit
them
like
are.
that. She is a bit
Most
like
of them
that.
are there, and that's why I really like
Mm.
The Name of the Wind, but I reread it and I knocked a star off because hell, he cannot write women.
Yeah, no,
You
I'd
can't.
agree with that. I'd
All
agree
he
with
can
that.
write is sexual objects that Quoth wants to fancy, and oh my god, all of them somehow fancy him. Don't they?
What luck?
He's done alright
we
for
all
himself.
should be so lucky.
Yeah.
So
Oh, lucky for him.
I
Yeah.
really struggle with Manic Pixie Dream Girls.
Well, anyway, so
Shame.
on that happy note,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope you've enjoyed our discussion on 5-star reads, and so I think we've all agreed really that 5-star reads for us have got to have like characters, plot, and emotional. So if we're going quickly back to that, for me, I think I'm probably different to both of you, and my emotion because that fits with the
Yeah.
character, then plot, and then
That's what mine is.
writing style. Oh, was it?
Same as me.
Yours was emotion. Oh, yours, yeah, because yours was
Yeah.
character first.
You're a
Oh,
Farrell.
maybe mine was plot. No, okay, mine would be plot then. I think maybe.
I thought you'd go
You're
for
gonna have
plot
to just be
first.
different. Yeah, I feel like you are more of a plot reader than I
I think
am.
you are.
Yeah, I
So I
definitely
think
feel
I've
like
reached-
it has to pull
like,
me through.
I feel like I bridged the gap between the three of us a little
Oh,
bit.
I wasn't
Yeah,
there earlier.
yeah.
I think you do. Yeah.
Because I think
in the bottom of the pile.
you're
And
not.
you're in the top.
You're having all the fun down the bottom. Don't worry,
really
you're like
enjoying
having
it.
a great time.
And I'm the
Enjoying
ignorant bliss.
all the
I'm the
exciting
ignorant
action.
bliss.
stuff.
You're not.
I don't mind. I'm quite comfortable with my ignorance.
No, we discussed this before. We said why we read, and you
Yeah.
said you read for like
Escapism.
enjoyment of the moment and escapism.
Yeah.
If I read a book and it's just
You want
an
it
easy
to-
read, and then I finish it and I feel
Something.
good, I'll forget it in a month. So it's not worth having read for me.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to read a book that I forget because otherwise I've wasted my time.
So you like to get something from it.
Yeah,
Like, I like
yeah.
a bit of both. I like to read for fun, but I also like to get something from it.
Like if I'm not enjoying it, I won't read it. I'm not so pretentious that I'll be like, oh well, I'm learning something, so I'm going to read it anyway. Like jog on. I want all of it. But do you know what I
That's
mean?
good.
I want it.
Yeah, I want all of it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just greedy, basically.
Excellent. What a way to end it.
From three greedy ladies. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
And
so
we'll see you next time.
yeah, that's our chat. And let us know in the comments down below what it is that you look for in a 5-star read, and what order you would put things in. So is it plot? Is it character / emotion? Or is it writing style? What is the most important for you? And maybe pop in there your recent 5-star read, because that'd be interesting for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
maybe your recent 5-star read and who you think out of the three of us would enjoy it the most.
Challenging.
Challenge. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I know, I do have them
Yeah, well
sometimes.
done.
Just to test us, subscribers.
Tick. So, yeah, that's it from me and Kaitlin and Mercedes. So, bye for now, Big Cheese.
Bye.